Hello everybody, I'm Tess Kowalski, and I'm making this video because I want to talk about something that I deal with every day. Something that is really important to me, and something that I even struggle with. Now, what I'm referring to is my disorder called Tourette syndrome. I've struggled with Tourette syndrome since I was 6 years old, which is when I was diagnosed. And although it isn't something that controls how long I live or the way I think, it's still something that I deal with daily. If you don't know what TS already is, because it isn't a very well-known disorder, Tourette syndrome is a neurological disorder. TS makes us have an urge to do and say things that seem really strange and very out of place. Things like twitching my nose, blinking my eyes a lot, making sounds like coughing, or even squeaking like a little animal. This is very difficult because this can be anything. It can go from simply just needing to blink a lot, but it can become something that's even violent or painful to me and harms myself. Now, these urges have a name. They are called tics, not like the bug. These types of tics are related to this disorder. Tics are uncontrollable. As I said before, I can't control when I am doing a tic. I have to do it. It's like having an itch that I need to scratch. If I don't scratch this itch, then it just gets stronger and stronger, and once I finally do it, I itch a lot more because the urge to itch was just stronger the more I waited. Tics are the same exact thing. If I need to tic, if I need to blink my eyes 10 times, let's say, and if I don't, and if I wait, when I finally do that, I might blink them 20 times because the urge will just be that much stronger. When I had just entered kindergarten, that was when my tics had started, and I didn't know at the time, and it was really scary for me because I was having all these urges to do these things, and I didn't know why. This little girl who I was back then was just so scared. Once I was diagnosed, I was still an incredibly shy and insecure person, and being so young, I didn't really tell anybody about my TS unless they were a family member or a really, really close friend I had at the time. Over the years, my tics got worse, they got stronger, they got more obvious, and this is the reason why TS is something that I feel like I need to tell people about, because it's not something you can hide, and it's not something you should ever hide. Having a condition or a disorder doesn't make you less of a person. It makes you actually stronger, and it gives you ways to deal with just hardships in life in general. Having TS has made me a stronger person. Having to deal with people staring at me in public for squinting at them or scowling at them or even making weird squeaky sounds, makes me a stronger person because it eliminates the factor of caring what other people think. I mean, obviously sometimes I will care what people think, but I've kind of built up some tolerance to it, and it's been easier for me to kind of just believe in myself and, say, okay, this person is someone who I'm probably never going to see again, so if they're staring at me, wondering why the heck I'm squeaking, I can deal with that today. TS is a neurological condition, and while we know the symptoms and what this disorder is, we still don't know a specific cure for it. There are theories as to why TS is caused and as to how it might be able to be cured, but none have been proven yet. So there is no medicine that can fully stop my TS. There is no cause that I know of that causes my TS. That's an official cause written down in a book. And there is no treatment I can take or get or do to completely stop my TS. It's part of who I am, and it's not something that's completely curable like a cold or having the flu. Speaking of a cold or the flu, having one of those means that you're contagious, right? If you have the flu, and if you go over to your friend's house, though I don't know why you'd go over to your friend's house if you had the flu, but if you did, and you were with your friend and you started coughing, your friend might get some of those germs, and they might have the flu as well in a few days. Now, this is what's called being contagious. If you have the flu, if you have a cold, or even if you have something else that's similar, then you can probably be contagious. TS is not contagious in any way. While TS may be hereditary, which means that other members in your family are very likely to have TS, this is not caused by the fact that TS is contagious. My sister and a few family members have TS, but they don't have it because they've been around me for a while and they caught it. That's not possible. They were born with it just like I was, and anybody with TS is born with it. They never can get it from someone else. Having TS has been such a struggle, as I said before. Being able to overcome the fears that I had about people accepting me for who I was something that took me years. And it's still something that I'm still not completely over. The first time I ever told people openly about my TS was when I was about 12 years old. So I already had 6 years where I barely told anybody, aside from other people with TS who I had met and close family members and friends, about my disorder. The first time I publicly spoke about my TS was to about 100 people, and not all people who I knew very well. And this was something that was utterly terrifying for me, telling people about this flaw I thought at the time that I had, or something that I even felt like I should have hid. People in school hide their TS all the time and hide their tics all the time, and it's torturous for them because it's something that's so difficult. As I said before, it's like having that itch you need to scratch. Needing to tic and holding it in for 7 hours is so difficult, and so many kids do this. Being able to give my first presentation about TS, being able to tell people that this was something that I was no longer ashamed of, being able to tell them that everyone should be accepted for having TS and that they're no different than the rest of everybody, was something that was so empowering to me. And it's something that I've been continuing since this day. That's why I'm talking to you all right now, because I want to spread the message. TS doesn't make us different. Every single person on this planet is a different person. Someone might be different because they're really skilled at gymnastics or they have incredible cooking skills. But that is not what defines them. What defines you is you and what you choose to be defined as. I don't define myself as the girl who has TS. I define myself as just a person who happens to have a neurological disorder, but who also has a ton of other qualities to her that are just as important. TS is just a part of what makes me unique. I'm not defined by my disorder. Knowing this, and knowing that I will not be defined by my TS, has given me so much more self-confidence to actually tell people about my Tourette's. Being able to tell people is the key to becoming confident about your disorder, to becoming confident about anything that makes you feel like you have a flaw. I used to think of my TS as a flaw, as a disability, but no, it's not. It's a key piece to who I am. And although it does not define me, it has helped me so much to shape the person I am today. You should never judge someone upon the image that you first see. First impressions are important, yes, especially when you're meeting someone for the first time who you want to impress, or if you're going somewhere that's important and then you need to hold a good image. First impressions with TS can be difficult because many times when I meet people, they see me ticking first, and that's always something that I'll have to deal with. Why should that bother me? Anybody who takes the time to get to know the person inside is someone who's worth talking to, who's someone who's a really great person, no matter who this person is, no matter what they have, what they're diagnosed with, or what condition they live with. Maybe you have diabetes, maybe you have autism, maybe you have a wheelchair, maybe you stutter, maybe you have dyslexia. Don't judge a book by its cover. That's what everyone says. So none of these things that we feel weighed down with, that we feel like maybe are flaws, such as having a disorder like TS, should be on the cover of that book. They should be within, and they should be important, but it shouldn't be what we are defined as. I have TS, and I'm proud to have TS, but I'm also Tess Kowalski. I'm not the girl with the disorder.